Well, let's just show you the live scene now in Thousand Oaks. We're seeing the fires burning there. It is threatening the town, and a large part of the town has been evacuated. Brenda Lee Rogers lives in Thousand Oaks, California. She is one of those people that was evacuated last night to Camarillo. That's just a town over, and she joins me now on the line. Brenda Lee, thank you so much for your time. I know this must be a very difficult moment for you. Can you first tell me what you were doing when you found out that you had to evacuate?
Sure, and I want to thank you for getting our story out. I appreciate all that reporters do, and especially you guys. Last night, we were at the vigil because we have a friend that was killed at the borderline, and my daughter and I came back from that and got back quite late, and we could see the fires glowing on the hillside near our house. My husband and my son were home, and when we came in, I said, I think we need to start packing. We hadn't gotten any alerts yet, but I just was really nervous. So we started putting things in that we cared about. My children went off to get those things that they cared about, and like photo albums and artwork my kids had made, and of course, passports and necessary documents, and got everything sort of packed up. And my daughter brought down her Tolkien books, and my son his collection of quarters because that's what they valued. And we had sort of all our things lined up by the door, and we were watching news constantly, and we decided to pack up our cars, and then at that point we were under voluntary evacuation, but we didn't want to make our kids leave yet. They'd had such a rough day with our friend dying. We'd all had a terrible day. If we weren't sure if we needed to go or not, but we decided to, instead of leaving things by the door, put everything in the car, and I sent them to bed and walked my dog the last time, and came in from that, and the flames were even bigger, and it was late by that point. It was nearly midnight, and my husband and I decided that we needed to go. We went upstairs and woke them, and we're bringing them downstairs when our phones started going off with alerts that we were now under mandatory evacuation. And once it's a very distinctive blaring alarm sound when those alerts go off. I have to say that my hands started shaking, and we said, that's it, we're going out right now. And between the alert going off for mandatory and the time we left was maybe 5 minutes. I mean, we fumbled to get our cat in his carrier, but we got our cat and our dog and our children out, and we had a friend in Camarillo that we could come stay with. We weren't really sure how to get to there because the main freeway was shut down in both ways, so we had asked her to give us sort of a back way to go. Of course, it was miserably dark because of the smoke. We decided that we'd meet at a safe place away from our house and then figure out how to go from there. Once we started, she sent us directions, and we realized that it was before our sort of safe spot. So what we did was, because we were in two cars, my daughter called my husband, so we just kept the phone line open. So we were all in touch and knew that we were safe as we were driving, and we navigated our way there, although we got turned around at least once because my daughter was so nervous, and me too, reading the directions and not being familiar with where we were. But it was a safe route. The night was so dark, and on the ridge beside us, we could see the flames, this horrible, horrible glow, and they were shooting high. It was terrifying.
Brenda Lee, you've given us such an evocative description of what it's like to have to evacuate during these fires. I know many others, thousands, have been evacuated. Where are people going? Are there multiple evacuation centers?
So I can only commend and say how much I love my town of Thousand Oaks and the city officials, because the first responders and the city officials were so quick to put our local teen center, our local senior center, make it available for evacuees. Once those filled, they opened up the high school and a community center nearby. They were constantly updating information for people. The trouble was that roads were getting blocked by fire, by trees that were down. I mean, we're in the middle of a windstorm that now they're predicting is going to go through Tuesday night. We were having gusts of 70 miles per hour, and they're chaotic gusts. They go in every direction, and so you can't really know exactly what way the flames are going to go, and you find roads that are blocked off or trees that are down. So it's part of why we left so fast, because we didn't want to get caught in the traffic of trying to evacuate. But I know people sought side roads and surface streets and kind of went any direction they could to find safe harbor. So some people went south and some north and east.
Brenda Lee, I know this might be difficult to talk about, but how are you getting information about what's happening inside the town and your home?
So I can't sleep through this. I mean, I think I was up over 23 hours yesterday. I've been really monitoring very carefully through Twitter certain hashtags, and I can't say enough about people like Twitter account VC Scanner, who keeps us updated, as well as the local fire departments and the local and state officials that have been updating. So all through the night, I was constantly checking Twitter, finding updated maps, and then going and posting them on my Facebook page, where, you know, I have friends from church that are not savvy to Twitter and not savvy to that kind of social media, just to try to keep giving them information. And whenever one would ask, you know, do we need to leave, I would look and go, yes, get out now. And essentially, all night I was saying to people, don't even question it. Just pack the things that are important, like your family, and just go.
Brenda Lee Rogers, thank you so much for talking to us at such a difficult time, and we're so glad your family is safe. That was a person who's evacuated from Thousand Oaks, California to Camarillo. Of course, there's much more about the operation to evacuate more than 100,000 people from the path of those California fires. That's on our BBC website. You'll also find background and detail on the state's long battle against wildfires. That's at bbc.com/news.